Use the magic of detachment in your life. In today's video, we're going to be going over 3 things you need to let go of in order to bring more love, more prosperity, more abundance into your life. That's coming up next. Hi there, my name is Dave and this is HeartSpace if you're new to the channel, where we are releasing videos almost every single day to help you live life more in your way, which to me means to the fullest, from your heart, from your passion, doing things that you love. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss any videos that we release. Now today I want to go over the detachment, the magic of detachment, and how this can be an incredible thing in your life, how it can enhance your life, how it can really take you, especially in your spiritual development, very, very far. Because one thing I think a lot of people get absorbed into in the beginning of their spiritual journey is they keep trying to do exactly that, is absorb things, absorb information, absorb, material things, whatever it is, thinking that these things are going to help them spiritually evolve or get to that next level. I went through a phase, for example, when I was what's called buy me, where I was in very hustle mode, where I was buying all the motivational books, how to do this, how to get it done, buying all the tools I thought I needed. And although that can be a phase we all need to go through, I'm also going to be talking about how detachment, I believe, is the next step that's really going to help you in your life. Because a lot of times when it comes to getting back to who we are, what we are, it's not about adding things, it's actually about removing things that help you get back to the core of what you are. You see, at the end of the day, you don't need to add anything to become more of what you are. You always are it. But sometimes all these things we take on actually cover up what it is we truly are. It covers up our divine self. And so we're going to go over 3 things you absolutely must let go of if you want to start living your dream life, if you want to start living a life from your heart. And these are 3 things that might take a bit of time for you to be able to let go of completely. And I would say I haven't let go of all of these things completely, although I've gotten way better at detaching myself from these things. But if you do get to the point where you're able to let go of all 3 of these things, for the most part, you're not only going to feel just less stress in your life, but more of the things you want will come in. You will feel just good being you. It's just so many good things will happen. So let's get into the first one. So guys, when you start detaching from these 3 things, this is when the magic will happen. This is when you're taking the weights off the metaphorical helium balloon, which will allow you to rise. And the first thing that I'm going to give you to start letting go of is labels. We label everything that we see. It's just kind of a part of the human experience. We like to label everything. We like to put it into a box. But when you give yourself certain labels and then you believe those labels to be true, you are pretty much placing yourself in a box that's limiting your divine potential. It's limiting infinite possibilities, which is what you truly are. So if you say, I'm this kind of person, you are preventing anything else on the spectrum from being able to come into your life. So for example, if you have an identity that you are just someone who doesn't have that much money and you're very poor, let's say that's the identity you have. This is not true. These might be your current circumstances based on your current belief system, but it isn't true. It isn't who you are. At your core, you're not some person that's not good enough because you don't have a certain amount of money, or you might believe, you're just not worthy of love, which is at the end of the day, just not true. But because you label yourself that way, you get stuck. You stick to this label. You have this label attached. One of my mentors said, you want to think of labels and identities as basically like Velcro. Like you're wearing this Velcro suit. If you ever went to like one of those carnivals and you put on like that Velcro suit and then you jump against the wall and you'll stick to it, it's really fun. I used to do it when I was a kid. But think of it like that. Think of like you're wearing one of those suits where it's just made of Velcro and you can put on different labels and identities that serve you in the moment. So for example, if you want to bring more abundance in your life, the identity of I'm poor and I can't bring in money is one that you probably want to unstick from yourself, throw out, and then stick on the identity of I am abundant. But even that is still a label and an identity, and you want to let go of your attachment to these things. Use labels as a tool to enhance your experience, but most people use labels as a thing that's detrimental to their experience. So get out of the habit of labeling everything or attaching yourself to the labels. Again, labels are just words that we use to describe something, but it doesn't necessarily tell us the essence of that thing. Like if I say, oh, that's a tree out there, does that really describe what it is that's out there? You can't see it, I can see it, but there's so much more to it than just the sound tree. the noise, the grunt of tree. Like when you really break down these labels that we give things, it's just a noise, a grunt, or something we write down on paper, ironically made from a tree, but it's not what it truly is. For example, I could say you are a human being, or how I like to say it, you are a spiritual being in a human body. But you're more than just that. Again, even that, despite being a much more expansive label, is still a limitation and a label. And so if you can start to get in the habit of letting go of these labels, understanding that you're bigger than any label, and a label is just something you attach to yourself and can remove at any time, guys. Think of it again, like wearing that Velcro suit and, oh, okay, you know what? This label will serve me right now in my spiritual journey. This label will. This label's holding me back. Let's get rid of that. It really can be that easy. Something I learned from Peter Sage, my mentor, is you can really just remove and add labels as you please. You can remove all labels. You can add a bunch of labels. You can add labels for different situations. But just understand that they are illusory. They aren't real. They aren't what you truly are. And so if you can learn to detach from labels, you're going to find that much more magic shows up in your life, many more synchronicities, and many more good things that you want. Number 2 might be one of the hardest ones to let go of for most people, but it is essential if you want to start living the life that you want to live, and it's letting go of your attachments to other people. How many people have attachments to what other people say to them, think of them, do to them, whatever else it is. So many people have attachment to other people, and it can make sense, especially if you love someone or you have someone close to you, you have a certain level of attachment. But even when you can treat that kind of thing with a level of detachment, knowing that no matter what happens, everything is fine, everything is divine, everything is going according to plan, it's going to bring so much more ease into your life, so much more effortlessness. Because a lot of people get caught up in what's called goop, the good opinion of other people. They get stuck in it. They don't do the things they want to do because they're afraid of goop. They don't allow themselves to be who they want to be because they're afraid of how other people will react. Essentially, they are afraid of shining their light, of being the divine co-creative being that they truly are, because they're afraid of the people who haven't discovered that that is what they are yet, from ridiculing them or tearing them down or not liking it because they're shining their light and those other people are not. So getting over and detaching from the opinions of others, of being able to separate yourself from that is very, very essential. Now, one thing also you want to factor in there is you do want to have boundaries. So for example, if someone's like being a certain way to you or whatever, just completely being airy about it and being like, oh, I'm not going to concern myself, whatever. There is a time for boundaries for sure, standing up for yourself and things of that nature. But for the most part, I found that when I just detach from everything, things seem to work out pretty normally. I saw someone else talking about this, Aaron Dowdy, which is where I got the idea for this video, and he was talking about simple things like having the guy come over to do some work on his house and him not coming on time. Aaron having the expectation he'll come at a certain time and then getting a little upset when he comes later because he always just does. And he says what happened was when he let go of the expectation of this person showing up at a certain time, he actually started showing up on time. When you let go of your expectations of other people, what people say to you, how people label you, magic really does start to happen. And I didn't mention that at first, but yes, your expectations of other people, let them go, detach from them, because at the end of the day, you cannot control other people. So it's not just about letting go of the attachment to other people controlling you, which some people have, right? But also letting go of your expectation of others. At the end of the day, you have no right to control what another divine being does. Even if the divine being is going down a self-destructive path, you can definitely encourage them. You can definitely try and help them. You can definitely ask the person to come at your house at the right time to fix the fridge or whatever else it is. But at the end of the day, when you let go of expectations, you can never be disappointed, and you will find that certain synchronicities start to happen when you just let go of expectations. And so don't have any expectations for other people. If you can let go of that, I'm telling you, once again, you're just going to live a much better life, because a lot of stress comes from the expectations we place on others. And most of the time, have you noticed, people do not fulfill those expectations, nor are they obligated to, right? That's a controlling mechanism we have. We like to try and control the unknown, even though it's unnatural for us to do so. And that includes other people. And yet, but who are we, even though we're a divine, I'm a divine being, you're a divine being, but who are we to try and control another divine being, right? We all have that sovereign will to do as we please. So let go of needing to put expectations on people. Let go of caring what people think of goop, and you will find that you're going to be able to live much more of the life you want to live. And the final thing you want to be able to let go of, detach from, that's just going to bring just so much more into your life if you do this. And this is another huge one, and you've probably heard this one before, but it's let go of the outcome. You know, so many of us become outcome dependent. We're like, I'm not going to be happy unless this thing happens. I'm not going to be fulfilled until this happens. I refuse to feel love until this happens. You know, you need to let go of outcome dependencies. When you're living your life and you're just doing things from your divine calling, you're doing things from your heart, you're doing things from your higher self, you won't care what the outcome is. Now, the added benefit, the dichotomy of this, the paradox is when you are actually moving from your divine self, when you are moving from your higher self, from your heart, great things will come into your life. But when you try and micromanage the universe, you're like, okay, universe, I will do this if you give me that. Like it's conditional. I have these expectations. Like I'm only doing this because I think I'm going to get something out of it. When you try and give those conditions to the universe, guess what? The universe, it doesn't give you the bird, but think of it as just like flipping you off and going like, excuse me, I'm the divine universe over here and you're trying to micromanage me? I don't think so. You are cutting yourself off when you do that, when you become outcome dependent. And so don't do things because, you know, you think it's going to get you something. The best thing you can do from this place, from letting go of detaching from outcome, from these expectations, is to, again, just follow your heart, follow where that higher self is leading you, where the universe is leading you. And again, not only will you be fulfilled in the process, but great things will come in your life. If you want abundance, you know, let go of this outcome, let go of how it's going to happen, and you'll find yourself in abundance. You know, so many people fail to get abundance when they want it, not because they couldn't, but because they're like, this is how I'm going to do it. It has to happen this way. And then this thing that the universe is trying to give them over here, they can't even see because they're so focused on controlling the process. They're like, okay, I need abundance. Boom, I'm going to do this. This will give me my abundance. Boom, right here. And you know what? I'm only going to feel abundant when this thing right here gives me abundance. Right? When my job finally gives me that raise I deserve, or, you know, when I make I don't know, whatever people do for that. But if you can let go and detach from that, if you can let go of this need to control the process and give that off to the universe and just follow your highest calling, then the universe will deliver the things that you desire. It will. You just have to let go of the how. So many people are concerned about the how. Now, sometimes the universe will give you the how and then you go with it, right? But don't try and force the how, right? That's not your job. Your job is not to force the how. Like if you're brought to an idea and it feels in your heart to go with that idea, and it's like, this is how you're gonna make money, and then the universe brings you to the idea, absolutely go with it. I mean, that's the universe leading you to it. But you need to let go of this idea of trying to control this process of only doing things for outcomes, of only being, you know, I'm only going to feel good if I get this outcome. You know, most people are living this way. They're like, I'm only going to feel a certain way. I'll only allow myself to feel these good emotions if this outcome happens, right? You know, how many people are waiting to feel love until someone gives it to them, for example? You know, so many people in the world are waiting to feel love, even though they could feel love right now. They could feel love within themselves right now. They could feel the divine, unconditional love of the universe, of which they are connected to, of which they are in this moment right now. But so many people are waiting for someone else to come along and give them love, for this outcome, for this person to come and be like, oh, you need some love? Here's some for you. Oh, you need some love too? Here. Oh, wait, I'm only allowed. Oh, sorry, just for you. Okay. Because we get like that too, don't we? But the point is, you know, don't become this person who has this outcome dependency. If you can let go of that and really just fall in love with the process, fall in love with yourself, fall in love with the divine download you get, and follow that, trust me, the outcomes will come. They just will come in a different way than you could have ever imagined. And that's how you know you're following the universal plan, the universe's plan, when things just start showing up and you're like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. Holy crap, I didn't know it would come in this way, but it did. That's how you know you're doing this correctly. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this one. That is the magic of detachment. I mean, You are going to live such a stress-free, amazing, effortless, magical, synchronistic, loving life if you start to let go of these three things. Just being able to detach from most things, I would say in general, is good. You know, again, I like to think of it like a helium balloon, and every time you have attachments, you're putting a little weight on that helium balloon. But then every time you start detaching from things, you are taking a weight off. So these weights that are weighing down your helium balloon is pretty much on the ground, and then you start taking them off and it starts to soar higher and higher and higher, and you expand more and more and more. Anyway, guys, I hope this has been helpful to you. Please use the magic of detachment in your own life. Please actually apply these things. As always, I love you, and I will see you in the next video.